Hi everybody, in today's video, we're going to be talking about biohacking in general. What does it mean? Who is it for? When is it too much? What should we be doing? So I have studied this pretty much my whole life. If you know my story, I had cardiac problems from chemotherapy at the early age of 20. I had leukemia at 15. And when you have chemo causing cardiac problems, it is primarily a mitochondrial issue. We didn't understand a lot about the mitochondria back then, except for that there were some supplements that could help, and they helped me. Coenzyme Q10, carnitine. And as time has gone by, I have been what I like to describe one of the original biohackers out of pure necessity. So I had to go outside of the traditional medicine norm, and I had to just keep searching because I wasn't feeling well. And then other problems popped in as my life went along. Autoimmune issues, sinus issues, different types of fatigue, recurring issues with my heart, with pregnancies and so forth. So I've explored all the different sides of biohacking. And I feel like one really important thing to say right now is that I get disappointed in the field in general because many of the people promoting it they either have never sat with a patient, which is very common. Most of the influencers that are talking about this, they have incredible experience. Many are very brilliant, really, really amazing. And they've helped me learn about this field and all the new tech that's out there and how many exciting things can be done with hormesis. Hormesis is kind of how I like to describe the basics of biohacking. So hormesis is a stressor. It is typically a small stressor. And when we stress our bodies, we actually get a positive reaction because we have a resilient response we're capable of as humans, which is the production of new mitochondria, the production of more energy in our mitochondria, so healthier mitochondria, and even better outcomes with our own genetic makeup, our epigenetic, our gene environment interactions. Those things can get helped as well. So biohacking is not all just mitochondrial, it's our DNA as well. So this whole field is incredible. It's positive. It is life-changing, but it has been tarnished a little bit, in my opinion, by always money, right? So just money influenced pharmaceuticals. And again, I don't believe all pharmaceuticals are bad by any means. I don't believe necessarily every single vaccine is bad. But when money gets involved, people tend to lose their critical brain and promote without the understanding that humans are individual. And this is why my passion with biohacking comes in the field of sovereignty, that every person has a different thing going on in your body. So you have your own unique makeup of traumas, of nutritional history, of medications maybe you've had to take, of exposures to toxins, of how you eat and your diet, and your exercise capacity. So with this beautiful blend that makes us humans, which is what makes humankind exciting, we present or react differently to different biohacks, whether that's a ketogenic diet. And remember, biohacks can be thought of as stressors. So slight stressors that don't push us over the edge, but that build resilience, like cold therapy, slight exposure to cold, like sauna, heat therapy that produces heat shock proteins, like changing and manipulating our diet so that we don't get lazy, so that we may go from predominantly fat to higher protein to a little bit more carbs. Keeping ourselves active and adaptable is really important. So when you are looking to get into biohacking, if you already are into biohacking, but maybe you're still feeling really tired, or let's say you're not sure what you should be doing, I'll start first by saying, congratulations, you're right. You should be questioning things. I've been saying for a really long time that women shouldn't be cold plunging if they're already anxious or different exhausted parts of their menstrual cycle. And frankly, men as well who are on a super high cortisol, there's a hit that comes in, but is that hit of dopamine and epinephrines that comes from the cold, is that helpful in the long term, or is that just a few hours of feeling more focused? And I think a lot of that still remains to be seen. We haven't had a way to test our mitochondria until recently. So in a different video, I'm introducing a test that I'm going to be working with called the Me Screen, which is a way to test how well your mitochondria are functioning. So stay tuned there, because I think that's really going to help us guide which hormesis or hermetic measures make sense, which biohacks make sense. So if you're in a state of nervous system dysregulation, which most people are, the number one biohack that could be important for you is meditating. or grounding, putting your feet in the earth, taking an Epsom salt soak and releasing trauma into the salt, into the tub. That could be by far better for you in the long run than the most expensive machines at the fanciest place. And what's happening is a lot of influencers are telling people how to do things in a way that can come across as not maybe a little judgmental, but they're excited and they make the patients or the people that are watching excited. And you may be really well educated and have done your research, but your body, your vessel may not be at the place where that influencer is, that you can handle it. And I find it really interesting that almost all these people online, they'll hit a certain ceiling and then they become self-help gurus because they learn this, which is amazing. So you want to listen to that. When do you need to just step back? When do you need to take a break? When is it more important to get nervous system regulation instead of going to push yourself with a HIIT protocol where you're exercising, high intensity? I think guiding people through those stages is what gives me passion, because I've had to do that on my own journey where I may start doing something, feeling really good for a while, and then I'll notice it's making me tired. It could be that I have certain traumas that are coming up that I need to sit with and honor and have grace for myself. And in those time periods, I've had to learn boundaries and saying no, not just to people or experiences, but also to some of these therapies. So certain things, again, whether it's the cold or whether it is even too much sauna or whether it's eating a ketogenic diet and fasting actually in some people makes their blood sugar go high. So I'm a huge fan of CGMs, the continuous glucose monitors. Why? Because you are an individual. How can you biohack just like everybody else? So get some information, whether it's a CGM, whether it's checking your HRV with things like the Oura Ring, whether it's just tapping in, asking your body, going back into your intuition a little bit. And then don't be afraid to slow down. That can be the greatest hack of all, is sovereignty. Listening to your body, you will have gains that are way more than the fanciest bells and whistles. And as your body gets better, then you'll be able to do those fancier things. And we'll have more and more guidance on this path as more tests become available. And then we can look inside ourselves and really ask our mitochondria, what do you need? Thank you guys. I hope this was helpful. Stay tuned and join me for more tips on mitochondrial function, how to safely biohack, and we hope to see you guys soon.